Hi, I'm Tim Belcher. Welcome to the shop. I'm working on a large project, full sheets of plywood on my CNC, and I'm not getting the accuracy that I need in terms of depth of cut across the entire bed. It's because the bed is woefully out of shape and needs to be resurfaced. Before I resurface it though, I'm going to re-tram my CNC. Now, tramming your CNC is simply the process of making sure your cutting head is perfectly perpendicular in an X and a Y axis. I've got two ways to tram my CNC. I'm going to show you both, and then I'm going to resurface the bed. All right, I've got this Yonico 1.5 inch 2-flute flattening bit. It's perhaps the third flattening bit I've bought for this CNC. This is brand new. And my first step is to test whether or not I have an issue in terms of tilt left or right. The way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna run several passes forward and back across this test piece of MDF, and then I'm gonna check for the ridges. And the ridges should tell me which way the cutting head is leaning. I should note that you want the largest cutting head you have to exaggerate that tilt left to right. And you also want an exaggerated step over, and in this case I'm going to use 90%. And now I'm going to jump into Aspire and make a quick little project to get that cut pattern that I need to test. I'm going to define my material first at about 12 inches wide, 4 high, and about 3/4 of an inch for standard MDF. And then I'm going to draw a box that's about 6 inches wide, maybe 8 inches tall, a little bit taller than the actual material itself. And then I'm going to center that box in the material. I'm not going to go into too much depth here. This is fairly simple stuff. I'm taking this box and I'm going to do a pocket operation, fairly shallow. Right now I have it 0.02. I end up later changing that to 0.05. I'm going to use my 1.5 inch flat end mill. I'm going to do a raster cut, and I choose 90 degrees on the raster with no last pass, and that gives me my up and down pattern. I'm going to go back in and change that raster angle to 270 degrees, and that gets me going from left to right. And this will give me that simple back and forth pattern that will allow me to check my ridges, as I mentioned earlier. And one last important tip when you're using these 1.5 inch wide flattening bits, you really need to ramp your plunge moves. You do not want to shove an 1.5 inch wide bit directly down into MDF. It is not a good thing, trust me, I've done it. A quick preview and I think we're good. We have 6 shallow passes along the y-axis, which lets us test that tilt in the X. And let's run that test cut now and begin the process of tramming the X-axis. And on my first test cut, you can definitely visually see the ridges. However, in most cases, you can actually feel the ridges more. As I push my finger from right to left, if I feel the ridges more prominently, it means the left side of my bit is low. If the ridges are more prominent as I feel left to right, it means the right side of the bit is low. All right, guys, I'm going to walk you through as best I can how this adjustment works. This is my CNC mill head. Every model will be different, but most models that are built for use at home, even these larger full-size models, will tram similarly. My head is attached via 4 hex bolts. Here, here, and on this side, here and here. This one happens to be a different size. What you're gonna do is slightly loosen those bolts and then adjust this eccentric nut. If I adjust that nut up, it will move the head in this direction. If I adjust this eccentric nut down, it will move the head in this direction. This nut only works when it's under tension, so it needs to be slightly tightened. You also need to remove this set pin and then reinsert it after you're adjusted. When it comes to trimming the y-axis, or the tilt forward and back of this head, there is no specific adjustment. In fact, on many there are not. You actually have to use shim stock to shim where the mill attaches to the CNC. You don't necessarily need any specific quality shims. You can actually just use tin foil. And in this case, you can see tin foil at the top and tin foil at the bottom on both sides of my CNC head. That's because from the factory it did not come perfectly trammed. And these are folded in matching depths on both the top and the bottom. Here I've loosened those 4 hex bolts and removed that set pin, and now I'm making my first attempt at an adjustment that will get the x-axis in tram. And I will simply move my starting point over about 4 inches and rerun that test program. On the first adjustment, I had intentionally overcorrected, and now I had some idea as to where that middle ground would be. So I go back to the original starting position, refine Z, and rerun that test program one more time. And third time's a charm. After this third pass, I could still barely see lines, but I could not feel them. And that's about as good as I can get manually. Time to set up for the y-axis, which simply involves taking a new piece of stock and setting it up along the y-axis the same as we did for the x. The vectric work is the same. You're simply adjusting your stock dimensions and your raster angle on that pocket cut. And just as before, we're going to run our test pattern, this time cutting along the x-axis and checking for ridges along the y. And not surprising, after more than a year of use, it was no longer in tram along the y-axis as well. And right about here, I'm imagining some of the more eagle-eyed viewers may see a problem with this engineering setup. I'm actually loosening the exact same 4 hex nuts to get access to the head mount where I can adjust the shims. I am likely misadjusting my X now that I'm adjusting my Y, and indeed I did. It's often a dance between the X and Y axis to get your head perfectly in tram. I made a few more test cuts, some on and some off camera. And then I decided to re-shim the bottom, which needed the most adjustment. So I pulled a new piece of tinfoil out and cut some small strips, and I believe I folded them over 3 times. This type of tinfoil, when used as a shim, compresses quite a bit. One last cut, and I've got to say, this was the cleanest I had ever seen this machine cut along the y-axis. I mentioned I had a second way to tram the machine, and in many ways a better way. So I'm going to take a scrap piece of MDF, a larger piece, and I'm going to use a spire to carve out a pocket of what my newly trammed machine should think is level. Hey, apologize for the noise. I can't turn the CNC machine off between that last step and the next. Now that I've got this milled flat, I can feel some ridges along the x-axis. In fact, I can feel those ridges and know that the head is turned slightly this way. I could keep adjusting that eccentric nut to get this perfect. That's the first way. The second way is to buy one of these, a tramming gauge for your CNC. This has 2 depth sensors on a spindle that you can turn, and it should tell me exactly how far off both in the Y and X I am to tram. Now this gauge comes with calibration magnets that you may use on a mill to get a much more precise reading, but for a normal CNC, it's fairly simple. I lower it slowly to the table, about 0.010 of an inch at a time, until I see both engage, and then I'm going to zero out the gauges in the same location. This allows me to spin the gauge and get some idea between the two how far I need to make adjustments. I calibrated the gauges along the x-axis, then the y, and then worked between the two to get it within a few thousandths of an inch. And then I just reran my test cut to see how it did. And no surprise here, this was by far the cleanest surface finish I've ever been able to achieve on this machine. Alright, with that done, it's time to surface the entire bed. I know from experience that surfacing the bed can be a bit daunting for people new to CNC. Here's my quick and dirty method. I first do a ref all home, which pulls the mill to the front left corner and adjusts for the stops. And then I'm going to jog the machine all the way across the x-axis, and that leaves me about 60 inches. When I jog the machine on the y-axis, I get about 123. So I've actually used my CNC to measure my bed size. I take those measurements into Aspire, set the material size, and then create a pocket toolpath for my CNC bed. Now in this case, I would run into some problems if I set my origin to be the front left. The origin would assume the center of my 1.5 wide cutting bit. And I don't have that extra 3/4 of an inch on the left because of the stops for my machine. So I set my origin to be the center of the material, which will be easy to find when I get back to the CNC. Once back on the CNC, I'm going to again ref all home, bringing the head to the front left corner. Then I'm going to manually enter the command G0X30. That's going to jog it on the x-axis to the middle of my pocket. And once there, I'll enter the command G0Y61.25, and that's going to put my cutting head directly in the middle of my CNC bed. Now that I have my head centered on the table, I'm just going to find Z, and I'm ready to surface the bed. You know, when I first got into CNC, I was very protective of my spoil board. For the longest time on my x-carve, I would take great care to put additional pieces of scrap on top to make sure that I didn't mar it. But now my spoil board is simply a history of scars, a history of all the projects that I've done over the last 1.5 years. Well, all good things. Time to start fresh. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I don't re-tram or resurface my bed often, and when I do, I frequently go back to YouTube archives. And I thought it might be helpful to show you my quick and dirty methods to do it. If you did find it helpful, please hit that like button. And if you like this type of content, please hit the subscribe. It really helps on a small channel. In the end, you can still see the lines across the x-axis, but you can't feel them. What you're seeing here is mostly the fibers from that MDF. And if I take a 220 grit sanding block just for a second, you can see how smooth it actually is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.